Hi everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts, and today I'm going to be showing you day 2 of my Halloween card series. I'm going to start off by showing you the products that I used. I used those same ghosts from day 1. They're by Memory Box and Impression Obsession. I'm also going to use some Echo Park letter dies and then some Trinity Stamp Slimline dies. I'll be creating 2 Slimline cards today. So I went ahead and cut out a white stitch Slimline rectangle from that Trinity Stamps die set. All the products that I used will be listed down below. And then I'm going to ink blend onto this panel with 3 colors of Distress Oxide inks. I chose Lucky Clover, Twisted Citron, and then at the very bottom of this panel I will add a little bit of black soot, and that's going to give me a really pretty Halloween green gradient. So I'm covering most of this panel with the Lucky Clover just because I wanted that to be my dominant color. I'm going to add the Twisted Citron just at the very top, I guess like the top third of this card. And I'm going to go over each color twice. So once I'm done with this Twisted Citron, I'll go back to my Lucky Clover and blend the top, or blend this Twisted Citron a little bit better in with the Lucky Clover. And I find that the more ink you apply, the easier it is to blend. So if you're unhappy with your blending, just keep adding ink. You're going to saturate the paper enough where the ink is not going to dry immediately, so you have enough time to kind of move around the ink. So here I am adding that black soot just at the very bottom, and I'll take my Lucky Clover one last time to blend that black out and make it a little bit less harsh. And then I think I go over the Twisted Citron one last time to brighten the top third of this panel. And then I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off my glass mat. You can see on the top left that I die cut a whole bunch of letters from green foil cardstock and some white cardstock, heavyweight white, because I planned on adding 3 layers of heavyweight white behind the green foil letters. However, when I added the green foil letters, I just felt like they didn't pop. I feel the green letters would have been really cute on an orange blended background or maybe a purple one, but I just wasn't feeling the green on green. So I'm going to set those aside. I will use them in my second card, but for this blended piece, I really liked this orange glitter. So I'm going to go ahead and add the 3 layers of white letters behind the orange glitter letter, and that's going to pop them up substantially. I really love the clean look of this, and I feel like if I cut itty bitty pieces of foam tape, it would have taken just as long. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with each letter. It takes quite a bit of time, but I actually enjoyed this process a lot. So if you haven't guessed the movie, it is Ghostbusters. I figured I'm not going to wait till the end because y'all probably at this point know. I chose the quote, "Who you gonna call?" because I felt like the only way to differentiate my Casper movie with the Ghostbusters movie was to somehow implement a quote. And there's a lot of great one-liners from Ghostbusters. I thought about doing "I ain't afraid of no ghost," but that was just too long. And so you could do "Who you gonna call" on the outside and then put Ghostbusters on the inside, but I got a little bit lazy. So I figured, you know, people are gonna put 2 and 2 together, especially because I surrounded the letters with a bunch of ghosts. So I'm gonna show you guys how I created the question mark because I didn't have a question mark in my letter set. So I basically die cut the letter S backwards. So I cut the letter S from the non-pretty side of my glitter paper and my foiled paper. And then again, I layered 3 white pieces behind, and then to create the little dot underneath the question mark, I just snipped the end of the S. I trimmed it so it looked more like a little circle. And by cutting off the end of the S, you get that question mark and you get the dot for the question mark. So that worked out pretty well. So you can always improvise. I did that a lot in my scrapbooking days. When I needed a certain letter, I would cut apart like a Z or letters that I never used to try to make other letters. I did add some water splatters to this ink blended background as well as some iridescent watercolor splatters just to add a little bit of texture and interest. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in those orange glitter letters now and lay them out onto my ink blended panel. And it's a little difficult to see on camera, but those letters are popped up quite a bit because I added those 3 layers of white letters behind. So I just love how this turned out. And then now I can just fill all this open area with a bunch of tiny ghosts. These vellum ghosts were actually from yesterday's video. I stamped a couple extra Darcies ghosts on vellum and I white heat embossed them. So I decided to just add them to the left and right of Who and Ya, just because they fit perfectly there. And then I'm going to fill in the rest of the area with these Impression Obsession and Memory Box ghosts. I'm going to show you how I created the vellum ghost, just in case you didn't see yesterday's video. So I'm going to take some vellum and I'm going to stamp out a ghost with my Versamark ink, and then I'll pour white embossing powder over the vellum and heat set it. And that's it. You get a really cool ghost. I love the transparent effect. By the way, this ghost I just stamped is a Lawn Fawn stamp. And then those 2 ghosts are from a Darcies stamp set. Here it is. It's, I think, Faboolous. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set that 3rd ghost. I felt like I needed one last vellum ghost. I don't know if that's like psychologically ingrained in my head that there has to be odd numbers or like a visual triangle, or if that's an actual thing. I don't know. But ever since I heard about the odd number rule, like I just constantly count all the time. Are you guys like that? Whereas before I knew that, I did not. Like I did not even notice that was a thing. But I think the visual triangle is definitely pleasing to the eye, but I don't know about the odd number thing. I'm still on the fence about that. So I'm pretty happy with this layout. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing down a few ghosts and my letters, but I'm going to stop after the A and Ya because I want to add a couple more ghosts. I mean, this is a Ghostbusters card, so you really can't have too many ghosts. So here's what I mean. I'm going to start rearranging my small ghosts, adding some more in, and then I'll start gluing again, and then I'll add more ghosts. It's kind of like a stop and go process here. Apparently I'm also rearranging the letters because I do like the look of tucking some of the ghosts behind the letters. You can see on the O's I added some ghosts peeking through. I thought that was really cute. I'm going to glue down the vellum ghosts. I'm only adding glue to the white heat embossed areas just because you can see glue through vellum. So I'm trying to be careful there. And then more gluing, guys. I am using art glitter glue here. It is nice and strong and you have just a little bit of time to wiggle the letters if you have to straighten them out or something. But once they're down, they are down. You really can't pick them up again. So I really like how this little quote card turned out, and I'm going to show you guys the vertical orientation for my second card, because obviously this looks great horizontally, but I wanted to see if I could make it work vertically, and I was able to, but you did have to kind of offset the letters, so you're going to see that soon. But I love that you can pretty much create any quote on a card if you just have one set of letter dies. I would highly recommend just one set. I have like 2 or 3 sets, but I always use this set. I actually used it in my in my Miss Ink video a couple days ago. And you'd be surprised how many times you pull them out. They're also really great for scrapbooking. So I think I have enough ghosts here. I'm pretty happy. So I'm going to glue down a orange glitter scallop rectangle frame onto my slimline card base. I did cut the center out because I'm stingy with my orange glitter cardstock, and you would never know that I cut a piece out of the center there. So I will glue down my ink blended panel with some ATG tape, and then that's going to complete my first card. I didn't add any embellishments just because the glitter I felt was more than enough to finish the card. So we're moving on to card number 2 now, and I die cut a stitch rectangle panel from some spiderweb pattern paper in my stash. And then I'm going to pull in those green foil letters. I was determined to use them, and I think they look great on this pattern paper. I think orange and white stripe paper would be really cute, or maybe black and white stripe. Whatever pattern paper you have, I definitely think you can try to use, because as you can see, the spider webs are pretty busy, but I think the foil just catches the eye. So that's the first thing you notice, despite the busy background. So like I said earlier, the only way the vertical orientation would have worked is if you offset the letters. But I thought that was fine. It kind of added some character to the card. So here I'm just kind of figuring out placement. I want there to be even space between each letter. So I think that is good. I'm gonna go ahead and now bring in my ghosts, and on this card I'll add a few bats. And these ghosts I cut from gray cardstock. They are the same ghosts from day 1, so I actually filmed both of the videos at the same time. So I had that huge pile of ghosts for those 3 cards I made in that one tag from day 1. Same with the bats. I had a few of those already cut. So I do reuse a lot of dies from my stash. I have quite the Halloween collection. Halloween is my second favorite holiday for card making, so I spend a lot of money on Halloween. So does my mom. She loves it too. But I do try to reuse my products as much as I can, especially ghosts, because they're great fillers on Halloween cards. I always kind of have a joke that if I need to fill in space, I would usually go for butterflies in the spring, snowflakes in the winter, and ghosts for Halloween, or bats. One of the two. But for these cards, I definitely intended to use ghosts because of Ghostbusters. And same with Casper in day 1. But I promise you guys there's no more ghost movies coming up. I don't think. I filmed them a few weeks ago, so I can't really remember all the movies at the top of my head. But I don't think there's any more ghosts. So I am speeding up the video here. I wish I could glue this fast, but I'm going 5 times the speed right now. So let me know in the comments what your favorite Halloween movie is. I might be showcasing it in my 13 card series. And if I don't, I can consider it for next year if this series is popular, which people seem to really like it so far. I think it's really fun, and people leave comments telling me what they thought the movie was and then if they guessed it right. So I think it's kind of a cute idea. So I'm just finishing up my last few letters, and then this panel is pretty much done. So I'm going to mat it on some black cardstock, which I cut from a stitch scallop rectangle. So I'm just adding a few more ghosts. I'm trying to fit as many as I can. And I love the Impression Obsession ghosts. They're so tiny that you can fit them behind the letters. So here is the completed panel. Here is my black scallop rectangle. I'll attach the pattern paper with some ATG tape. And then I'll glue the black mat onto my card base, which is 8 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I do use heavyweight 110-pound white cardstock. I do sell my cards, so if you want to purchase these cards, you can. I have my Etsy link down below, and lately they've been really popular. Some of you guys do purchase the cards in my videos pretty quick, so if you like these, I would go and check them out because slimlines always seem to be the most popular. To embellish this card, I'm taking some green sequins from Trinity Stamps. They're just a variety of different greens. Some of them are iridescent, some are metallic. And I'm just scattering them all over the card, filling in a lot of, I guess, open area. And then that's going to complete the second card. Let me know which card you guys like better. I do like the orange glitter just because it's so pretty. I love glitter. But I do like how both turned out. I hope I was able to give you guys some inspiration. If you create a card with a movie quote, please tag me. I'd love to see that. Thanks again so much for watching. If you haven't yet already, please subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye!